Did you just gender
Hello,
chat?
everybody. How are we doing? Excuse me. What are you talking over me for, Neil?
Nothing. Don't worry.
I heard that.
Oh yeah, all of you had. You know what's up.
Does everybody see how many daddies Unfunny One has?
Jesus,
how do you-
90,000.
90,000.
How do you see that?
Oh, I posted it on there, but he can also just commit.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Basically, you fall asleep and you get woken by this number in your nightmares.
He had. We were streaming last night, and like while we were bored because it was wintertime in the
Last
game.
night, like 2 hours ago.
Yeah. Well, technically, last time I fixed the music sound. He gambled like half of his like ridiculous number of daddies. Like, oh, let me just gamble these and won. And he's like, "What did I do?" And now I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna come up with something for 100,000 daddies for the rare person." Like, probably will never happen again that somebody wants it, because 100,000 daddies equates to like $1,000, even if you didn't necessarily spend money to get them. I want to give something amazing. Somebody was suggesting a mythic level for one of the PCs. Somebody was suggesting that. That's like, whew. That's like you could legitimately be a chosen of a god or be your own god. Just don't give it to Neil. Don't give it to Neil.
Canonically?
Do we need the character that sold thousands of souls to get like? Do we want to uplift it? Do we want to reward that behavior?
I think so.
I mean, I'm sure Norway is jumping right on that bandwagon.
No. This is Norway. Norway's gonna be like, right, 100,000 daddies, changes alignment, lawful good, done.
Oh, that'd be pretty sweet if I was like, Norway, 100,000 daddies, changes alignment. You give him a good
Obviously, you have to give me
spanking.
a mythic level to change the alignment.
No, we just
Give it
changed.
to the
We changed
regicide
one of the
crew.
letters on your character sheet and call it a
Give
day.
it to the regicide crew. That's like
I love the
having.
register.
Yeah,
When
that's
the
like
bus
having
stop,
the.
they were around.
That's like having the
Wow.
ability to make a difference.
Oh snap! Throwing
Oh,
shade.
that one, Scott?
Steve, wanna clip that one and throw it at Rena? One day those two will be in a campaign together, and I really want her to go for the jugular. You know what I'm saying? I get the jugular carotid artery at the same time.
Did you just say good jugular?
Oh, I was gonna say go for the gusto,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, but I was like that might be like misinterpreted, so I chose like a body part instead.
Oh, that is cruel, Josh.
Yeah. All right.
Now,
Can
we
we
play some
permabuck this
D&D?
group from the chest? That's a funny one. All right.
That's actually unfunny. One.
Oh, that one caught me off guard. Why?
So I got like 2 hours of sleep. What's your excuse, Neil?
I just had a pie on an empty stomach.
By the way, Josh, after the session ends, what are you doing?
That is cruel.
All right. So, you know, Jake, I'm going to let you remind us what happened last time because I know it was a session that you very much enjoyed. So.
Jake's like, it's fucking.
Oh, no, my apologies. Neil, why don't you do the first half and we'll let Jake do the second half. There we go.
A bunch of refugees arrived at the outskirts of Kurzful. Jesus, it's been so long. Kurzful. And we managed the situation beautifully. We set them into little non-permanent camps with which we could process them in the kind manner and send them on their way to Reed, where they might get started with their new lives. However, we hadn't quite got that far. And so we made preparations for this.
Aaron, if you can hear me, we'll miss you at Thanksgiving. Love you. Sorry, go ahead.
I really like Thanksgiving pumpkin pie. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron, I bet Aaron makes a mean pumpkin pie.
Aaron
Anyway,
doesn't make pumpkin pie, but if Aaron tried to, it would be balla because anything baked. If Aaron doesn't make it perfect the first time, it'll be perfect the second time and every time after that. She's like, I experimented and didn't like the way it turned out, so I just threw it all away. But here's perfection. It's like, whoa. you continue, sorry.
Yes. Anyway, so we just made some discussions, had some discussions with our advisors, and the plans were set. That night, however, fire erupted in Kurzfall. Fire and an amount of rioting instigated by the refugees, and more likely instigated primarily by a group of assassins sent to kill. See, this is the effect of a pint on my brain. My sharp brain is Leon.
Yeah.
Leon.
I was
There
like,
we go.
are you forgetting the name of the country?
I actually
Or
had to refer to my notes there. That's how bad it is. And they were sent after Leon, and Valren intercepted them and fought with Leon with all his might, slaying one of the assassins in the room and capturing the other one. However, it was unfortunately too late, and Leon had succumbed to several axe wounds around his neck region. He was dead, and Valren placed him upon his horse and took him to the chapel, the shrine of the martyr in Valor, in Kurzfall. At which point he made several prayers to no avail, and Rayron arrived and also made several prayers.
let's be plain with our English here. He failed miserably because he's a dirty soul. What happened from there?
And then Rayron got a response from the god.
Not exactly.
Keep going now.
No, I couldn't take your limelight.
Yeah, God. So he fails miserably. Jake is thinking and thinking.
Jake feels really, really sick.
Oh no, it's poor Jake. Jake's actually unwell today, but he did not want us to miss another session, and so he's like, "I'm gonna play anyways." It's like 4 a.m. I don't feel well, but we're playing anyways because we're not missing this.
You seem restraining that sneeze right there. That was a Constitution save or whatever it is we have in this system.
Alright, so... Yeah, so what happened after that?
I'm sorry, that reminds me, Neil, on Halloween, one of the funniest costumes I saw, one of my neighbors, like 4 houses down from me, I walked up and I was like, she had this green thing over her head. And I was like, I feel like I should get that reference. It looks so familiar, but I can't figure out what it was. And she called it like a pingle or a puggle or whatever. Anyways, it's one of those things that are over the head of Sims characters. And I was like, oh my... So she just dressed normal, but had like the Sims thing floating over her head. It was brilliant. It was so funny. But I'm sorry, Jake. I can finish up for you, so you can have a moment. So Jake takes the body from the one temple, and he's like, Morris, like, I already tried, and he's like, I didn't, and he's like, listen, I've done a thing. He's like, Rayron, let go, and like brings him all the way over to his own temple, where there he like kind of boards it up so nobody's gonna interrupt his own ceremony with him and Tu and Leon's body. And then he goes and I hope he's okay, because like we can choose to not play this session. I didn't realize he didn't tell us beforehand that he wasn't feeling well. He told us like right before we went live. I hope he's okay. So
He's fine. He's not American.
I'm good.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
I'm good, mate. I've been waiting 2 weeks for this, alright?
Okay. So, and then he, all of a sudden he's like praying to Vrogar, and Vrogar didn't answer his prayers. Instead, there was a knock on the door, and 3 was there. And
that is Vrogar answering his prayers.
And she walked in, had her little introduction to both 1 and 2, and then she did a thing, and Leon came back, but not before 1 axe severed his ties to a certain goddess, another axe severed his ties to a different goddess, and a 3rd implanted his soul back in his body as a gift from Vroga. And he came back. And I believe that is exactly where we stopped. So, on the other side of town, Tesh, you had left. You had were saddened. You're very disappointed. Things were going well for the kingdom. Well enough, at least. And then there were refugees at your doorstep. Not bad. Not good. But not horrible. Everybody seemed alarmed. But honestly, you're like, we can integrate these people into ours. You're a very kind soul. Remember that when you spend daddies. A very kind soul. And you wanted to integrate that into your kingdom in a positive way. And so you're trying to like finagle a way to make that happen, right? Unfortunately, things took a turn for the worse, as we just described 100 times over. And Leon lied dead on the altar. You turned and you left. Where did you go? I would love to listen to what he's saying, but unfortunately, he is muted.
I am muted. I would be going to put out more fires, be trying to just stop more people who are out of control. I'll be using hideous laughter to try and stop those if I can, if it's like one person, or just trying not to kill people, but also not knowing that in this situation it might have to happen.
Yeah. So fortunately, most of it has been kind of subsided at this point, and obviously you are speaking to your own guards and whatnot, and you're trying to put a wrangle on them to make sure that they're not using lethal force to stop anything that's going on. Now, there will be a degree of rumor going around of what happened in Leon's mansion. So for you to fully get your guards to listen to you, the ruler, the commander of this kingdom, I need you to actually roll for me a loyalty check. Give me 1 second, sir, to actually pull that up really quickly. I believe it's at plus 22, but I just want... Oh, I pressed calendar instead of drive.
Kingdom Tracker.
Oh, you're there before me. Ooh.
Yeah, loyalty?
No, 17, plus 17.
17, yeah, not 22.
Yeah. Roll it for me. Ooh, beautiful.
Not bad.
So listen, you're like I said, there's rumor going around about what happened with Leon. Okay, what do you tell them? Do you address it at all? Do you skirt around it? Do you lie? What do you do?
I would press on them that now is not the time. We need to stop this now, save as many lives as possible, then we will talk.
Okay. Everybody knows what that means. I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
Yep.
So anyways, everybody knows what that means, but they listen to you, and they use non-lethal force, and they finish putting this to the side. They're trying to kind of break everything up, so on and so forth. So that's kind of what you're taking care of there, as you know that you're at least one of the other crowns is not out.
If I've convinced the guards to do that, I might at some stage go visit the assassin, noting that he had a reaction to the fact I was Perrin, hoping that I can get some information out of him.
So kind of like once you know things are taken care of, it's kind of like as the sun's rising, you're going to be riding up the stairs to your castle and kind of like, dismounting off your steed to have that like hurried and stone-faced walk towards where the prison cell where they're being kept. We'll get to that in a moment. Flashing back over to Neil. Neil almost sounds like fail. Neil, you almost. I tried. You're sitting there. You literally just kind of like sat down, slumped down. I imagine time passes. How much time do you let pass sitting there?
I think Rarian would leave it an hour. Around that, probably no more of quiet contemplation and reflection before he'd make his way towards the castle, I guess.
And there, were you looking to sit in your like situation room, the throne, took a nap, maybe the kitchens? I just need some eggnog. It's that time of year.
I mean, we already have several prisoners, but it's probably not appropriate to talk to them just yet. So I think he would perhaps have a seat in the throne room.
Just give one of those One of those quiet, contemplative.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. After that, I won't lie. Wearing this Dungeon Dragon skull cap makes me want to have like a Aurorum, Adventures in Aurorum kind of. Maybe I know somebody that can stitch one for me. I don't know if anybody stitches. So, anyways,
You can.
I can't stitch.
Just get a needle and some thread.
Yeah, last time I stitched, I was in 6th grade. 6th grade when I took home ec.
Funny screaming merch in chat.
Merch.
So anyways, moving on. So, and Jake. He says, and you sat forward and you had said a couple words to him. And he looked at you and you said, "Are you, ready to join the fight?"
I said, you didn't think we'd leave you behind.
Yeah,
And he smiled or something.
yeah, he had smiled. My apologies. I thought you said
A big
to keep
toothy
serving or something.
grin.
But it was a big wide smile he gave back to you.
Yeah.
And from there, I imagine pretty quickly, just kind of flash forward those first several minutes, he doesn't really have the ability. It's kind of like there was that moment, but from there, like his strength is kind of stolen from him. Remember, he's not young. He's a parent, so he lives long, but he's not young. So he actually, my brain, sorry. He's not young, so he actually needs to kind of like he's aching, he's hurting. Everything he went through, he's literally on health point. He needs several minutes to kind of catch his breath. During that time that he's like catching his breath, try to come to, and I imagine one and you hoist him up. Sorry, two and you. Hoist him up and bring him over to a spot where he can kind of like sit and even kind of like lie back and catch his breath, try to regain his energy. You 2 and 3 will be able to step to the side and have a conversation. So this is like legitimately.
I'd like to ask to heal him as well.
3, you mean?
Yeah, 3.
Mm-hmm.
No, wait, 2. Can't 2 heal him?
Oh yeah, 2 can heal as well. Can't 2. Mm-hmm. So, you, apologies. So, you asked 2 to heal him up, and he looks at him and looks back at you. He's like, I don't know. I'm thinking he needs some scars.
I need him conscious because I'm going to put the brand on him.
He looks conscious. You look over, and he's like, but he is technically conscious.
He won't be if I brand him.
He thinks for a moment, like he's trying to remember exactly what that means, because 2's not the brightest. And then he recalls, and he's like, and will make his way over to him, and kind of like pulls something on and be like, Rogar's will, puts his hand on him, and a little bit of healing. 3 is just kind of watching all of this. She's taking a bit of a step back, so it's not like she's far from you, but a couple steps further back than, say, 2 was. And because, the chairs here have all been kind of, mostly shuffled because you originally barred the door, then you unbarred the door and whatnot, she's kind of, leaning with her back against a chair that someone taller would easily be able to sit on, but, sit on, the arm of. But she's kind of, leaning with her back against it and just taking it in. Not just him and you and 2, but also the entire temple, because she really didn't spend much time in here before she immediately cast that spell.
So she's just looking around, contemplating things.
No, yeah, she's taking it in. She doesn't say anything, is what I'm saying. So what do you do?
Okay. I walk up to Leon after he's been healed, and I say, feeling a little better?
He will sit forward and look at you and say, I'm alive.
This is going to hurt a little bit. And then one's going to push his hand onto his chest. And he's going to brand him.
Okay.
With Rogar's mark.
You see his eyes wince and he clenches his teeth and whatnot as the burning sensation of it appearing on his chest initially happens. But, he doesn't whimper or whine or anything. He's literally just gone through much worse pain than this. But his pain threshold is, of course, lowered because of his state of mind at the moment, So you can see he's kind of wincing and gritting his teeth. The mark is on him.
Rest here for a minute, Leon.
He nods.
We have nothing that requires our attention right now. And then I'd walk over to 3. I'd just say to her, took you a while. Where have you been? You let 2 get here before you.
I was doing Vrogar's will.
Where?
It wasn't needed here, was it?
Clearly it was. And he looks over at Leon.
Which is why I arrived. I did miss you.
I thought you just... He looks over at 2 and he says, we miss you too.
This is a strange situation to find you in, you know.
Extremely.
How's 2 settling in? She says, looking at him, and, you know, his hair is a bit crazy, his beard's a bit nutty, and he's kind of like twitching a little.
Surprisingly well behaved.
Yeah? She says, looking at him for a couple more seconds, then looking over at you. No problems?
Yeah. No, he's actually been listening to me too. So it's been good.
If I understand things correctly, there's a war. There's a war pounding at the front gates.
There is. There is.
Like I said, I didn't really need to be here. Not until now. You laid the bricks. And now I'm here to clean up the mess.
What mess?
Oh, the bodies on the battlefield. It's going to be glorious.
That it is.
Allies?
We have a few.
We'll probably need them. Have you been?
Have I been?
Hard Gwen.
I have not. I've been there before, but not recently.
It's much, much, much larger than this podunk town.
Have you been there?
In the past, not recently. Not with what's going on here.
Okay. You gotta sort out this refugee problem, and then maybe we should get some letters out and call our allies.
Are they fleeing from the rulers of Hard Gwen? Are they really that horrible?
Yeah, they are. They're not nice people.
Well, it seems like we need to get fighting started soon, lest the war wins itself.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If we summon our allies, we may even be able to attack them. I wonder how many people are deserting.
Sure, many. I saw them on the way in. But the looks of these people, these don't look like people that live in the city. These look like people that live in towns. Skirts.
Which could possibly mean that there's going to be a further influx of people.
Could be. Or maybe the rest of the ones in the city are walled in. You can always tell city folk different from town folk. It's the way they walk. You'd know if you were as small as I am. You see a lot of hips, knees. People walk differently depending on where they're from.
I'll take your word for it.
Oh, we all know what walk you have. Or should I say strut?
I'll take that as a compliment.
You should try. And she looks over at Leon and says, he's the enemy, is he not?
Not anymore.
What happened? Why is he here? Why'd we save him?
He's been surprisingly good to us, and he's very valuable. He's trained the majority of our troops, and he is to lead them in the battle to come. He was a general, and now he had retired, but we convinced him to come aboard, and he's been extremely loyal since.
He had with him, he carried faith of the martyr and, well, you know.
I do.
Those are gone now. His soul was placed back by the will of Vrogar, but he has no faith. I'd like to approach that.
What were you thinking?
You can't have a commander over a battlefield in a war that doesn't feel war in his heart. For all the horrible things I wish to say of her, she knows war. And now he's just a puppet with no strings.
Create some nuance.
That I may. Excuse me, there's some wounds I need to tend to. And she walks away and goes over towards Leon. And you can see, like,
He just watches.
yeah, you can see from like where you are without like listening to every word or whatever. She introduces herself and you know and,
He
and
would be
whatnot.
listening to every word, by the way.
Yeah, but she like introduces herself as 3 and like gestures towards his wounds, and she actually reaches into the pack she had brought with her and pulls out some bandages and salves and stuff like that, and starts kind of tending to his wounds. And she doesn't say anything about Vroga, nothing about it whatsoever. She's just tending to his wounds and making sure that he's okay. And she actually, because she's pretty keen. She does even like comprehensive tests where like things that probably not we to us nowadays is like duh, but back then you don't really look at these things. She even like follow my finger, stuff like that, making sure that he is consciously all there, and that no like blown back from a concussion or something. And she'll just, like I said, engage in like small talk. But she does that for the better part of an hour, making sure that he's all dressed up. Before she'll actually place her hands over an actually legitimately injured leg, one that he would have a hard time walking on. She places her hands over it, and you can see her hands glow with like a warm, like reddish glow. You imagine it's much brighter on the inside of her hands, but you're kind of only seeing it like if you put a flashlight through your skin, like to the back side of her hands. And the wound on his knee heals up much better, on his leg, I should say, heals up much better. And then, funny as it is, because he's so tall compared to her, she actually extends a hand and helps, him get up, and so he can walk. And so all things told, it's over an hour later on that has passed, and he's finally on his feet, and then kind of like, stretching out his legs, and you can see he's soon going to be able to walk the distance of, say, leaving this place and going elsewhere. The whole time that this is happening, two is going back and forth between moving some of the chairs back to where they're supposed to be, but they look sloppy, just kind of like clean up Rogar's temple, going over, going onto the shrine, saying like kind of bored, placing a hand on the shrine, but saying some prayers to Vrogar while like looking around and, hand on the shrine, and goes over to you, he's like, yeah, and like walks off without really saying any words. And he's just, kind of like a lion in a cage, because he wants to be out there and tearing things up, but he also knows you explicitly don't want him to do that because you didn't want him to do too much carnage beforehand, so he's respecting your wishes. It's just difficult for him to do. After that time kind of passes, I imagine, do you approach Leon or do you wait for him to approach you?
I'd just sit back and watch, and when he looked like he was ready or wanted to talk to me, I'd approach him.
Okay. When you kind of see, it's more or less not that he wants to talk to you. It seems like he's good now. He seems like he's got his wits about him. His pain has subsided enough between the treatment of the two of them. Like, he's good. He's also not a whiner, so he's good now.
Okay. He'd just walk up to him and say, you look better. Feel it?
No. He says, no.
Not feeling too good then, buddy?
He grabs his shirt, pulls it open, so you can see the big gaping wounds that are there that are barely, they're bandaged, but there's red soaked in the marks where there's axe wounds, and says, I'd say I've had worse, but
We had to bring you back.
I'm not
What
complaining.
is the price to back?
I'm not complaining. What's the status out there?
I was cleaning things up before I found out about you, and we've been here for about an hour and a half. Don't know what happened, but the refugees some of them seem to have decided to riot. I thought we'd sorted the problem with having them relocate to Reed, but apparently these ones thought different. Probably should go, if you're ready, go and assess the situation. And now everyone thinks you're dead.
You know there were assassins.
No, I don't. What? I don't even know how you died.
So I did. Officially. He says,
you were
looking
dead
over
for
to
some
3.
time.
He says, looking over to 3, like she didn't answer the question before. Then looks back to you when you said you've been dead for some time. And he says, they were assassins. They said as much. I want to know who
What'd they
sent
say to
them.
you?
Not a lot, traitor. From the parent. A few personal messages as well. But given the circumstance, I wasn't able to pinpoint who it was that had sent them. It was none of them individually. I don't know any of them. They were sent. This is an order given to them. These are trained assassins. I've unfortunately worked with the ilk, such as them, in the past. But, I want to know which commander sent them.
Do I actually know if we've even got one? Because I don't know that I have that information.
You do not.
Yeah. Well,
Don't think you don't think he ever spoke to me, and I'm the one that knew that we
Yeah.
captured them.
So he would just be like, I don't know what happened to your assailants, but if they were captured, they'd be, I dare say, in the dungeon, but they're more likely dead. Are you ready to present yourself to the castle?
I don't.
Their once deceased commander returns.
I'm ready to present. Is it known? The knowledge of my... Is it known?
It is. That's how I found out. Word travels quickly. Also, when I found you, Chosen of the Quill, he said that they tried to get the martyr to bring you back, but she wouldn't.
She's a goddess of forgiveness and love.
Well, we're going, but I think what we need is forgiveness. That's why Brogar saw it fit to return you to us.
Where we're going is war. Maybe that's why she made that decision.
Could be. At any rate, this will confuse and embolden, I believe. But we should tell all how you came back as well.
I don't know if that's... Do we need to tell everybody of my passing in the first place?
I think most people already knew. Well, some of the soldiers anyway.
I'll leave it to you to decide what is good to tell the people. It's your kingdom, not mine. I'm ready to present myself, of course. I'm ready to walk to the castle.
Then, General, let's go. 3, 2, would you like to accompany us?
1, go!
Yeah, I was waiting for it. I knew it was gonna be you or Neil. One of you was gonna say it.
Yeah, but Neil's
Neil
eating.
had his mouth full.
Yeah, Neil's eating. Yeah. Oh. He's gonna stuff that pie hole. Yeah. Yeah, I see you. We're watching you. Eating. Always eating, Neil.
Okay.
Yeah, you just keep eating, Neil. Go right ahead. Do you tell Chloe thank you for that? Say thank you to Chloe. Okay. Good boy. All right. So you guys go over to the door, and open it up. Like I said, 2 had already kind of rearranged the furniture anyway, so it's easy for you to do. You open up the door, And you see outside of the door, though not so close as to listen, there are 8 guards standing outside the door with weapons drawn, not towards you, their backs to you, like looking outwards. Clearly, there's already been known that there was a fallen commander here, and there's a chosen in here, so they were set to guard you. When you walk out, so as the door opens up, I imagine the first person to walk out is you, one.
Yep.
The guards all kind of like turn to look at you, and you can see like as they turn to look at you, they look happy to see you, but at the same time, there's like tension of the entire situation on their faces. And one of them, clearly like the commander of them, turns. Like, you know, he's clearly the highest rank of them. Starts to take a step towards you to say something, and then 2 comes out, and then 3 comes out, and you know, as they're approaching you, they say chosen. They report chosen of the, and drops off and looks at the doorway as Leon, as General Jaeger walks out. He trails off there.
Yes, Sergeant.
Majesty, he says, turning back to you, and says, is all well?
He looks over his shoulder towards Leon, looks back to the soldier, and he says, Rogard protects. Now form up a guard. We need to make it to the castle.
You heard him, men? And then they kind of they'll walk with you all the way back to the castle and whatnot. So you guys go make your way back to the castle. When you come walking in, Tesh, you see that what's his name? Rayred is already sitting on the throne. So you finally walk into the castle, and he's just sitting there on the throne with a pensive stare off into the distance as he's contemplating all of his wonderful successes and failures in life. Sorry, I'm just teasing you. Joke's old, though.
I mean, he with the direction I'm walking, he can probably tell where I'm going, so I'll just give him a nod and then continue walking. You are muted.
Where's he going?
The dungeon.
We should wait until morning before speaking to those captured. I'm sure if we were to head down now, one would come as well, and that would result in certain actions.
I would like a chance to speak with him alone. He reacted to the fact I was Perrin,
With who?
the assassin.
We caught one. Alive?
Yes.
Unharmed?
Not unharmed, but alive. I had just killed his ally, and the guards had just arrived. It was rather easy to apprehend him at that point.
Very well. Then perhaps we should speak to him as soon as possible. Rayron would stand slowly and make his way over.
When you guys go downstairs into the dungeons,
I would ask him to stay back because I do want a chance to go alone to begin with, because he reacted to the fact I was Perrin, so I want to play on that.
he can come downstairs and just not go inside that particular chamber. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. When you guys go downstairs, what you see at the bottom of the stairs, there are 7 guards down there. That's unusually high. And Kithul. Kithul looks at you as you walk down the stairs, the 2 of you, and he doesn't give his typical formal greeting. He just simply says, "Is true."
Just give like the nod.
He immediately turns and he walks through the door. And I don't mean like he opens the door and walks through the threshold. I mean like he smashes through the door into another one. And like I imagine the 2 of you quickly react as you hear and you hear the smashing of something against a wall as he clearly picks somebody up and like boom slams it against the wall.
Wait, Kithul.
The person is literally pinned to the wall by a hand made of something between flesh and stone, as like by his throat, kind of like, and you're kind of like trying to do Kithel, Kithel. He's not without reason. He's a very wise and generally a very calm person, but he like, kind of holds there, doesn't release any pressure off of his neck. So the guy's face is very quickly turning red because you know how it is when it's a full choke, right?
Yeah.
And he turns his head, like a halfway back, like you have his full attention.
I need to talk with him.
He doesn't move yet.
Kissel, release the man and step outside of the cell.
There's like another full second and a half where like you're on the biting edge of I need to say or do something else, when finally he just like flat pulls his hand away and lets him just collapse to the ground, like as it was effectively like a full bar across the throat for as long as that was, and he's really trying to catch his breath. You imagine he definitely hurt his larynx there as he was doing it too, and Kithel pulls it away and turns and walks out the door. He slams it shut behind him with the two of you in there. But when he had walked...
Byron isn't in there yet.
Okay, well, with him still inside.
Yeah.
But with how he had burst through it and slammed it shut, it actually broke the door enough that it shuts mostly, but not completely. And it's kind of one of those...
Well,
boom!
we're going to put him in another cell. Okay. Believe it or not, he is the middle ground. You have a chance to avoid a lot more. Who?
It's... oh, fuck. I was hoping you'd just let him finish it.
That would be the easy way out. You're not getting the easy way out.
Am I not? He says, and he like quickly jumps up. He's clearly still out of breath. His face is still red, but he actually jumps up and rushes towards you, like to engage you. Roll initiative. 1 second.
Okay.
The way that Roll20 has changed its format, I'll get used to it, but I'm not used to it yet. Oh, I rolled horrible.
Perfect. Let's watch me roll even worse.
Roll 91 so you don't have an action.
I rolled a 2.
Oh, you did roll worse. Oh, that's awesome. Let me make sure it's displayed well on stream.
As long as he
That's so weird. It didn't roll for me, but it showed up on the initiative tracker.
It rolled for me. No, that's weird. That is weird. So I'm guessing the roll didn't go through the stream either. Yeah, no, it didn't.
That's so weird.
It is
But
weird.
yeah,
Clearly the
it's on
rolls are
initiative.
being done. There's just a slight problem in like they're not being displayed.
Oh,
They
you
still
remember?
haven't fixed it.
I actually found out why that's happening because on Monday I played with somebody that works for Roll20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's actually a wicked cool dude. Eric Vigalis, or I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but it's like a Vigalis or something like that. Wicked cool dude. Anyways, he works for Roll20, and he was saying the problem is they're actually dealing with a lot of hackers are like hacking into their system and not like stealing any info or anything like that, but they're like constantly messing with this one type of code, and it's like legitimately like hundreds of people are constantly doing it. Like it's just like a group of like probably a couple thousand people are like, this will be funny. And so like going in there and just constantly spamming this one thing, and it's causing the lag. And so they keep trying to like plug up every hole, but they keep doing more. So it's just annoying. So they're just kind of dealing with that right now. Yeah.
Curse of Gygax.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to check something because I have an idea.
So he rushes forward and is immediately going to make an attack roll against you. What's your CMD?
My CMD is 12.
12. Okay, hey guys, now's the time to drop a trump card if you want to see what this guy can really do. Huh? Kill Tesh? Huh? Just kidding, not Tesh. Tesh is the one that we're supposed to be good to. Stop thinking about it. Joey, talking to you. No. Tesh is the good one. Do bad things to Neil. He's the naughty one. All right, so what's your CMD, I'm sorry?
12.
12. Okay. Oh, that's... Oh. Oh. I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna open roll that. This is an open roll time, so we can spend some daddies. He said 12, right? Beautiful.
But he's staggered. Or the such.
Yeah, sure, but
He just got choked.
I still have a plus. Sorry, I still have a 16. So he rushes forward and immediately grabs at you and grapples you, and then I get to make an extra roll because I get 2 attacks.
Oh, okay.
And then my next one is gonna be the same exact thing. Oh no! Oh! I can technically do it. I'm gonna spend the daddy's dice. All right. I just need a 4. Please.
It's not the 4.
Give me a 4.
It's not.
No! So he grapples at you and he grabs you and he tries to pin you to the ground. But unfortunately, that brings you down to 6 daddy's dice. He tries to pin you to the ground, and unfortunately, you're able to kind of like just barely, even though he has you in a hold, and he's clearly holding you, but he's trying to pin you to the ground, because if he does, he can put his hand over your mouth and you won't be able to say anything. You'll just be kind of like muffled as like, kind of knee on the back of the neck, hand over the mouth pins you.
That's terrifying.
But luckily you're able, as he's like throwing you to the ground, you're able to find your like footing underneath you, like twist your hips just the right way, that he can't get you there. You're squirrely. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Do I have like how does the what do I put on grappled?
Yeah, so you are grappled is the condition, correct?
Okay. Then I'm gonna do this.
I'm sorry, I didn't see. I'm going back.
Does that hit his touch AC?
Actually, hold on, because he is grappled as well. 1 second. Let's see. A grappled creature is restrained by a creature, trap, or effect. Grappled creatures cannot move and take a -4 dexterity penalty to dexterity. Grappled creatures do a -2 on all attack rolls. So that's except those made to the grapple or escape the grapple. So that's a -2. Oh, does it? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's right.
Wait, made into the grapple? What?
You're good. A grappled creature who can attempt to cast a spell, but you're not doing that. Okay, so,
Wait, so if I'm making it into the person who's grappling me, do I get the minus?
No, yes, you still get the minus, no matter what. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was just checking something. Okay, so his touch AC is actually higher than that because he has a decent dexterity. I was just making sure because he is grappling you, but he is also grappled because you both gain that condition at the same time when you grapple somebody. So there's a penalty to dexterity. I was just trying to check out what his stat was. You know what? Honestly, it is literally his touch AC is an 11 because he is also grappled.
Oh, so I get him.
Yeah, you actually do. You get him. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So just touching that to him, I say out loud, "Oh no, you don't." So like everyone knows that something's happening, and I'm gonna use staff curses with baleful polymorph.
No! No! Are you kidding me?
I'm turning him into a rat.
Oh my gosh, golly! I just went fortitude first and then will. Oh no, that was terrible. All right, like I said, I'll open roll. That's what I was doing for this guy. He still has a pretty good fortitude save, but I don't know what your DC is.
My DC is.
No, what's the DC?
I wait. How do I figure? I keep. Oh, DC is. What level of spell is?
No!
No matter spell, my level 0 spell DC is 14. So.
No.
Baleful Polymorph is a 5th level spell in the staff. It must be a minimum of 5th level.
Yeah, so then 19 is the DC.
So he jumps at you, he grapples you, and he starts trying to pin you to the ground so he can like plant his knee on the back of your neck and get you. He's like, oh no, I won't. And then like you do that, and you pin him to the ground, and once you do that, he sorry, scratching. Once you do that, he you're like, oh no, you don't, and you touch him with the staff, like you just barely fight back, like I said, twist your hips the right way, and hit him with the staff, engaging the powers of it. Don't forget to use the charges. And all of a sudden, you see like whiskers immediately appear. His face immediately elongates. It gets like tufts of fur as he's giving you this like vicious like rat face, huge rat face, like coming at you. And then all of a sudden, just shrinks teeny tiny, and then bink, a tail pops out as he.
I'm gonna pick him up by the tail.
Yeah, excuse me. It's not that easy. I need a dexterity check to pick him up by the tail.
He's
Rats are
still
fast.
He's still grappled. He didn't lose the grapple condition, I'm afraid.
Oh God, I can't believe. Roll it. I can't believe. Oh, and I need to make one more save. Technically, I need to just GM roll this one.
Oh no. It's okay. The door isn't wide enough. I chose a rat instead of a mouse because it's harder for the rat to get through the door.
Jesus Christ. We've got
So-
a rat in the castle.
You all of a sudden you hear, no, you don't, and there's like, and then all of a sudden you see a rat come running out of the room that Jake was just inside. Is that because I said the door?
Can I lock that?
I said
That
Jake.
is-
Damn it, Tesh, because the door slammed shut and it slightly went ajar.
Yeah, so that is not going to do it. So I'm going to that's low. You didn't ask me if I was going to lock it.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna do it just in case. Also because he's a fucking mouse. Hey.
Ah, you try to scoop him by the tail. You don't get him by the tail, but you see it going for the door, and you slam the door shut, so it can't get through the door. And then as it's like scratching at the door, you see it try to like run around in here, and eventually you're kind of able to like run over it. And you hear some like shuffling going on inside the room, some weird shuffling and some screeching and whatnot, but like some weird screeching. Does Raven go and check it out?
Yeah, of course.
Eventually, you open up.
Just slammed.
You open up the door to see like Valorant like bent in half, so you get like booty in your face as he's like trying to do something in the corner on the floor, and eventually like got ya, and he's like holding a rat that's like trying to get away. Now rats can be scary, but luckily your characters are adventurous, so you often wear gloves and stuff like that because it's winter time. You're warriors. You're just in combat, so So luckily it's like protecting his hands from the little like disease infested feet. Assuming it's disease infested, and he's holding the rat, and the prisoner's gone, but he's holding a rat in his hands. Now, you've probably never witnessed magics like this before, but you've probably heard of them: spellcraft.
So I think, regardless of the result of this, Raven would come in and go, "What the fuck, Valorant?"
You don't know what the spell is. You don't know what you don't. Like, you're not an idiot, but you don't know exactly what happened.
He tried to make a move. My response was to turn him into this temporarily.
Temporary. He doesn't know Baleful Polymorph.
It's a lot more difficult to contain a rat.
I don't know Baleful Polymorph. Is it permanent? No, the curses aren't meant to be permanent. They last as long as the staff has charges left.
Sure.
Which
Baleful
is
Polymorph duration permanent.
Well, no, because it says the all curses last number of rounds equal to the number of charges remaining in the staff. So it would have been 27.
Oh, so it is very temporary. You are correct. So it's a weaker version of Baleful Polymorph. Okay.
That is lucky.
Otherwise, it would be broken as fuck to have just Baleful Polymorph, a permanent polymorph, on hand at all times.
No. You can spend one charge to cause the creature to become cursed for a number of rounds equal to their remaining. While the curse persists, that's for a generic curse.
Yeah, no. While the curse persists, and then it has a list of the curses.
1 second.
I assume it's just a specialized item.
So the way sorry, my apologies. The way that usually a staff works is it'll have a generic ability, and then it'll also have like spells that you can cast. This works as the you know what? Honestly, the way that you're describing it makes some of those spells much more powerful and some of them much weaker. I like the way you're describing it, the way that I have it written, even if I probably miswrote it. So we're gonna take it as your raw interpretation, as opposed to what I'm thinking I meant to say, because I kind of like that better. So we'll just say I stumbled upon genius through Tesh's mind. My genius filtered through Tesh's mind. Go ahead.
Okay. Then yeah, sorry, it's turning temporarily.
Right, well, rats are a lot harder to contain than a person. So perhaps...
True, but they're also much worse at pinning you to the ground, like he was trying to do.
Right. They also can't talk.
No, but it won't take too long.
Kithel. Scott.
Yeah,
Kithel,
sorry.
Could you?
I was just lamenting over the fact that I was so close to getting him. I was gonna start like soccer kicking him in the side of the head, like so hardcore, like ground and pounds. Like then have Raywin come in from behind and have to do some execution style to save him.
Polymorph work the same way Polymorph does in that if they take damage below the health, they just turn back?
No, he is that creature.
Okay, cool. So we just gotta go away from time.
So my apologies. You say Kithel. Kithel was outside the door, because you saw him in the hallway. But Kithel's usually pretty still and calm. He's not like two. He's not pacing or making noises or anything like that. But you can just get a sense of disquiet from him. You know what I mean? And so when you say Kithel, he doesn't respond the first time because he's probably off in his mind. You say Kithel a second time, maybe even glance out there. And then he comes in immediately. Yes.
Would you send a man to find us a bird cage or something equivalent?
He looks to one of the other guards that are already inside the room and says, "Now." And the guard turns and runs off to get one quickly.
Valorant just starts doing math in his head and starts like, okay, but we have to get him out before the time runs out, or it could be very bad.
Yes, how long will it last?
And I would like, and then I'll say how long now? Like if it's 27 rounds, that's 27 times 6.
So probably because 6 seconds have already passed, right? 2 minutes 36 seconds.
Cool.
So you just say 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes around about. Probably best to get him out after a little bit after 2 minutes.
Very well. Reren would look at this rat and say, "We're going to put you in a cage until you turn back to your usual form. What I would say is, should you not answer all our questions, my friend here will turn you back into a rat and we will leave you in the cage until you transform back. You will slowly be forced through the bars of the cage, and it will not be pleasant."
It doesn't look like it's really looking at you. It's more looking at trying to get out of the hands. You don't think it seems to be listening?
It's fine. It's a rat. It may well not be able to.
I'm not entirely sure he can at the moment. Yeah. I'm not. This is the first time I've used this spell. I'm not entirely sure if he retained his intelligence during the transformation.
Maybe next time we could invest in some manacles.
Yes, I was quite surprised to find him not in manacles. Looks over at Kithel.
Okay, so the guard comes back down pretty quickly afterwards because they sprinted. And they come down pretty quickly afterwards, and less than a minute, and they present for you a cage of sorts, and you can put the thing in there. It seems secure. Okay,
so we've got about a minute of him in there while we discuss. First, we need another cell. That one is no longer secure. Points at the door. It's like just. So we need another cell.
Okay, let's move to a different cell then.
Yeah, you just move. There's, like I said beforehand, there's 4 rooms down here, and they're different sizes at each one. 3 of the rooms are being used, including this one. Now you just move into the 4th room.
And then, obviously, wait for the timer to be about to run out. Pull him out. Okay. And then wait for any sign that the magic's giving, and then toss him the second the magic's giving.
All of a sudden, you see this rat with big ears, like human ears on it.
Oh, okay.
Toss the thing, and as you toss, it's like big legs, and then all of a sudden, there's big arms, and the whole body's big. Then the tail just kind of falls off, but dissipates as it falls off at the same time, and all the hair is kind of going back into it. And there's a full-size man, like you saw beforehand, and now we'll take a break. See everybody in just a couple of minutes.
Rip headphone users.
It's like the laughter from last session.